Now that the Superman hype train is officially going, I thought it would only be right if we looked at Marvel's side of things, because they have some pretty big projects coming up in 2025. But arguably the biggest and most exciting one is the Fantastic Four First Steps. I know that that's the project that I'm looking forward to the most for the Marvel side of things, and I think it is a very good complement to the Superman movie, which is releasing, I believe, around the same time. There are a lot of similarities between these two movies for sure. Emphasis on the color blue, though the Fantastic Four has a much more lighter shade of blue, and also the focus on optimism and love, and both are about superheroes. There are a lot of possibilities for the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. It's going to have a huge impact, or at least it should. It's going to introduce Galactus and the Fantastic Four, and possibly some other very powerful characters in the MCU. Spoiler alert, but I think Franklin Richards is going to be introduced in this movie because the title itself, First Steps, can mean a lot of things, as the director has said. First steps meaning like first steps on the moon, like space exploration, because this is set in the 60s. First steps could also mean the first steps in beating Galactus. First steps could mean the Fantastic Four's first steps into their new universe after their old one has been eaten by Galactus. And finally, the most impactful one, first steps as in Franklin Richards' first steps. He's either going to be conceived in this movie or has already been existing in this movie. And his pure existence has so much complications for everything. He could be the reason why Galactus comes to Earth. He could be the key to defeating Galactus. This little baby boy is gonna cause so many problems, and I am here for it. I don't want to spoil too much though. I'm liking the vibe so far from all the promotional art. I hope they release the trailer very soon. I doubt they're gonna hold it back till February 2025. I think that's a bit too late. January 2025 seems to be the perfect spot for a trailer to drop. After the whole Superman craze has died down a little bit, that would be an opportune time to promote their movie. I really like the score that this movie has so far. It's got a cosmic, adventurous, scientific feel to it. And while I love all of those elements that they're going for, I really hope they don't forget about the four part of Fantastic Four, because I think from what we've seen so far, they get the fantastic part. This is the most fantastical version of the Fantastic Four we've ever seen, with Galactus and all these celestial beings such as cosmic entities. But what I really want the emphasis to be on is the four: Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm. What I would like this movie to do is to show the human side of these characters first and foremost before getting into the fantastical stuff, right? They mentioned that this is going to be about familial love, about optimism, compassion. So what I would like is for this movie to start off with maybe like a road trip, or the Fantastic Four sharing a meal together. Something very mundane and human that requires no superpowers at all. I don't want them to use superpowers for like the first 5 minutes. I just want them hanging out as a family. Maybe they're on a road trip, they're by a campfire, they're looking at the stars, because this is also about space exploration, so maybe that's like a teaser for what's about to come. They can talk about space while around the campfire. They're wearing regular outfits, looking at the stars, talking about mundane stuff, talking about life goals, what they've been focusing on recently, and then maybe they get a distress call and then they have to suit up. Emphasize the four first before the fantastic. After that, then we can highlight how smart these characters are. They're super geniuses, right? I think all of them are. They're super adventurous. They have these superpowers. We can then go into that after characterizing who they are as humans. So an emphasis on humanity is definitely one of the things I'm looking for. Next thing, since this is in a different universe, I really want them to somehow flesh it out in a short amount of time that they have. It's always tricky because whenever like a whole new universe is set up, it's like, come on, how are you gonna possibly explore that in a single movie? So chances are it's not gonna be very fleshed out, and plus they're going to space, so I don't know how much of this universe we're actually gonna see before it gets destroyed, presumably. But I just really want new locations and sets, and I want the world to actually feel much more alive than what typical MCU movies do with the actual world. MCU movies seem very character driven, and that's not a bad thing, but also I just want the world itself to be a character as well. Look at like the Superman trailer. The Daily Planet is a building, but it represents so much and adds so much to the world and storytelling, even though it's just like a building. But the symbolism and what happens there, who inhabits that building, means so much. I just need more of stuff like that. More locations, more sets, really show us this new universe. Then balance the cosmic stuff with the more grounded stuff well. That could actually be a good story beat and point of conflict between the characters. Maybe Sue Storm wants to just live a more normal life and focus on growing her family, you know? Maybe there's a baby coming, while Reed Richards is more focused on the more cosmic, fantastical side, just trying to find out how to advance humanity as a whole. And that could be a very clever way of the movie addressing how surreal it is to have to be living in a world where giant cosmic men are just eating planets, and how like you can't really have a normal life in this kind of world where like there are people with superpowers just flying around. Or can you have a normal life? I would love to see that be explored. The cast themselves seem to have a great dynamic. I've seen a few interviews with them. Casting, great in my opinion. Chemistry is off the charts. Other than that, we don't have much information on this movie yet, but that is what I want from the Fantastic Four First Steps so far. What would you like this movie to have? Are you excited for this movie? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to read your responses. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.